All right, this is the I.S.U.P.K Wednesday law class. Also, remember to check out Commanding General Yohanna's radio show. The radio show is what? Monday, 2 a.m. UK time. So it starts 2 a.m. And then there's also classes in the States, Tuesday through Friday, which is midnight our time. And then we have classes here Monday. Monday we have the history class. Wednesday we have the law class. And Thursday we have the scripture breakdown class. Coming down to those in person, man. 394 Lodge Road, man. Ain't far. Coming down to those and experience the class in person. Also, pay your tithes and donations and so forth, man. Do all of that also. Support the truth. Support the cause. And if you're not in the truth, time's short, man. You need to get yourself in the truth ASAP. But today we're going to go into a few scriptures. We're going to touch on a few things. So yeah, today we're going to touch on a few things. If you could say, can you get me Exodus chapter 12 and verse 14? So the same black men that you see, that you look down upon, the same Israelite men that you see, people see us on the streets and think, oh, they need to get a job. They're bums. They're angry. They're mad at the world for no reason. Guess what? These same black men is joint heirs with Christ, man.
That's right.
Them same black men that you look at as nothing, them black men that you see as nothing at all, they're joint heirs with Christ, man. And I'm going to show you that in the Bible, that we're going to partake in that glory and that kingdom and them riches, man. The same very black men you see today working basic jobs, the same very black men you see today running straight from slavery to do the work of the Lord and have to go slavery and whatnot. Those same black men that you look at as lowly, they're going to be joint heirs with Christ, man. You're going to see us in our glory with Yahushua, man. But for now, it seems like what I'm saying ain't true. But guess what? It's going to happen, man. If I could give me Exodus chapter 12 and verse 14.
Exodus 12 and 14. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial.
So now this was talking about Passover in what, Exodus the 12th chapter. Obviously, that's not the point I'm getting at, but I'm going to show you what I'm getting at. Read on.
And ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations.
So it says this was a memorial, and it says you shall keep it as a feast throughout your generations. Now, what's your generations? After one generation, the next one, the next one, the next one. Keep it from that time all the way down throughout your generations, through all the Israelites, man. You meant to keep that feast. Go ahead.
Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance.
And you shall keep it by a feast, by an ordinance, meaning it's an order to keep this feast. Go ahead.
Forever.
For what?
Forever. So
we was meant to keep this feast forever. So once a year, you meant to keep the Passover. Now back then in this time, if you missed 1 year, you was cut off, man. If you was a baby and your parents didn't keep it and you didn't keep it, you was cut off, man. Go ahead.
Verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat on the unleavened bread.
And once a year, for 7 days, you had to eat unleavened bread with no yeast in it, every single year. So just think about it. If you've been in the truth, 2 years, 3 years, you have to eat this. Basically, there was a time before Yahushua, you would have had to do this from you was born, man. Or if you didn't do it every single year, you was cut off, man.
That's right.
You didn't do it every single year, you was cut off. There's no, well, I found the truth when I was 15 years old. There was none of that. If you didn't do it from you was born, man, you was cut off. Go ahead. Yeah, no, sir.
Yeah. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. And
before your house, man, if you had leaven in your house, leaven was found in your house, you was cut off, man. Or the priest would either take your head off, or you was just cut off, man. Meaning you wasn't a part of this nation. You would be, obviously you're still an Israelite, but quote unquote you're not an Israelite. You're not one of us. You see, like most people, if they got a gay son, how to cut him off, how to say it's not my son. Quote unquote, it's still their son, but it's not their son. If you get what I mean. And it was like that, man. If you didn't keep these feasts, go ahead.
For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
So it says, whoever eats leaven from the first day to the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. Now, this was before Yahushua, man. So now all these fake Testament Israelites, if they don't believe in Yahushua, they basically still cut off. Because it's because of Yahushua why you can be brought back, man. If it wasn't for him, you'd still be cut off. You wouldn't be a part of this nation. You couldn't be heir, you couldn't be joint heir to the throne. The promises didn't pertain to you. The covenants didn't pertain to you. The glory didn't pertain to you. Nothing pertained to you, man, because you was cut off. Now, when you cut off, it means you're not a part of us no more. From there, give me Leviticus chapter 17 and verse 10. I'm gonna get you some next scriptures on what you would be cut off for.
Leviticus 17 and 10. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourneth among you.
So now it says, whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or stranger that sojourneth with you. Now, when it's talking about a stranger, it's talking about another Israelite who's just from another land. Basically, if you're in the land of Benjamin, and then you got someone from the tribe of Asher that dwells amongst you, that's all it is, a stranger. You don't know them. Same like today, if we see what a brother from Saint Martin or Saint Vincent, we would consider him a stranger because he's just, sojourning amongst us. Same like English-born Benjamites. Look at Jamaican-born Benjamites as strangers, even though we're the same people, so forth. Go ahead. That's all a stranger is. Someone that you didn't know, someone that didn't live amongst you, that's someone that you weren't familiar with, someone that's from another land that's dwelling in your land. That's all it is. Go ahead.
I will even set my face against that old that eateth blood. So
now it's saying any man that eats blood, the Lord will set his face against that soul, man, because it's against God to eat blood. That's the white man's custom. The Africans do it, right? That's the African customs. You watch all these wildlife programs where they kill a deer and they drink the blood. You see when they do it, where they drink the blood and whatnot. We can't be doing that, man. The Lord gave us laws against that because the blood is what is the atonement for your soul, man. Atonement means what? To make amends for a wrong. That's what blood's given for. Go ahead.
And
which was meant to go on the outer, man. You ain't meant to eat it like the white man. Go ahead.
And I will cut him off from among his people.
So now, if you eat blood or drink blood, shall I say, you cut off from among your people, man. That's the white man's way of life. He's a cannibal and all these vampire movies. That's them, man. The Africans are near enough vampires and whatnot. That's them. We ain't meant to do those things because we've got laws against it. Go ahead.
Verse 11, for the life of the flesh is in the blood.
So it says, for the life of the flesh is in the blood. So say, for instance, you have a goat. You kill that goat. The life of that goat is the blood, man. That's what it's talking about. The life of the flesh is in the blood. So whatever animal you have that you kill, the life of the animal is the blood. So that's why we can't eat the blood, man. Drink the blood, because the blood is the life of the animal. And this is how you know blood's the life, because when you go for a checkup, what do they do? Blood tests and so forth. What do they do? Like to prick your finger and test your blood. And then when they test your blood, that's how they find out whatever disease you got, whatever this you got, whatever that you got. Because the blood is the life, man. And this is why we had to, that's why the blood had to go on the making, that's why all things was atoned with by blood, because blood is the life. Something had to die, man. Go ahead.
And I have given it to you upon the altar.
And you ain't supposed to drink that blood, man, because the blood is the life, and the Lord's given it unto you for that to go on the altar. Go ahead.
To make an atonement for your souls.
And atonement means what? To make amends for the wrongs you've done. So that's what that blood was for, man. The blood is meant to go on the altar. Go ahead.
For it is the blood that maketh an atonement.
For it is the blood that maketh an atonement. And this is why in the Bible, when you did wrong and certain animals couldn't cover what you've done wrong, it says their blood shall be upon them, man. Because the blood is the life. Go ahead. And this is why if you lose too much blood, you can die, because the blood is the life, man. Go ahead.
to make an atonement for the soul.
And that's what blood was for. But what happens? White people come around, start drinking it. What's that thing? Pig's blood. What did they call it again? Black pudding.
Black pudding.
Yeah. No, what did the white men start doing? Eating black pudding, pig's blood. What do they do on all these African documentaries with the animals? They take the animal's heart and bite it, and their mouths covered in blood all dripping out. That's white people for you, man. And Africans, that's not us. We ain't meant to do them things, man. We meant to drain the blood. That's what we do. We drain the blood. And this is why when we cook our food, there's no blood in there, man. Because we know. But listen, by nature, black people don't even eat blood. Black people see, like, even when black people look at their chicken and there's a little bit of red on there, they don't eat that part. Have you noticed? Black people say, this ain't cooked thoroughly. I'm not eating that part. Whereas the white man, to him, that's the tastiest part, man. Go ahead.
Therefore, I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood.
And the Lord said to the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, man. Why is the Lord telling us this? Because we was in a place where obviously they eat blood, man. We was amongst the Egyptians. So once we came out of Egypt, the Lord's telling us, giving us the rundown of what not to do. Because the Egyptians, there was eating blood, there was homosexuals, there was this, there was that. And the things they was doing, the Lord don't want us to have no part in. So he ran down these laws for us and said, look, don't eat blood, don't do this, don't do that. Kind of like when your kid comes home from school and tells you about what their friends do, you have to run it down to your kids. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Go ahead.
Either shall any stranger that sojourneth among you.
Neither shall any stranger that sojourneth among you, meaning any brother, man, that's from another land that was dwelling with us in Israel, man. Obviously, the reason why you see the word stranger now and neighbor and think it's the white man is because obviously you're in slavery where you got every nation around you, man. But at this time, they understood what a stranger was. They understood who their neighbor was. Because when the commandments was given to Moses, it was only Israel in the wilderness.
That's right.
So they knew who their neighbors was. They knew who their strangers was. It's just that you happen to be born in a society where you have East Indians, the Chinese, the white man. So you think the guy next door to you, that's talking about your neighbor. You think that's talking about you. You think the guy next door is your fellow man, when it's not talking about that. Whereas in our when we was in our land, the guy next door wouldn't have been a Chinese man. The guy next door wouldn't have been a white man. The guy next door, your neighbor would have been your brother, and your neighbor is your brother. That's an Israelite like yourself. That's your neighbor. Go ahead.
Shall any stranger that sojourneth among you eat blood? Verse 13. And whatsoever man there be of the children of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourneth among you, which hunteth and catcheth any beast or fowl that may be eaten, he or she, like he shall even pour out the blood thereof.
So now, if you catch an animal, you pour out the blood thereof. Obviously, you don't see it a lot in England because we don't kill our own meat. But if you go places like Jamaica, when they make their goats grow, then they hang it from a tree, then they cut it from the throat, and they drain out all the blood. You seen it, right? When they drain out all the blood on the floor. To drain out all the blood on the floor, then they cover it with dirt or sand or whatever. What they're doing right there is what we was doing in biblical times, man. That's how you meant to do. You meant to drain out the blood. Go ahead.
And cover it with dust.
And you cover it with dirt, man. Dust, whatever you got, sand. Listen, the white man even does it today. Where on the scene of a crime and there's blood everywhere, what does he put all over it? Put sand all over it, man. Same thing. He covers it with dust. Go ahead.
For it is the life of all flesh.
For it is the life of all flesh. Blood is the life of all flesh. And this is why when you read in the Bible that we was purged with the blood of Yahushua, that's what it says, the blood, man. Because blood is the life of all flesh. Go ahead.
The blood of it is for life thereof. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, ye shall eat the blood of no manner of flesh.
And you're not meant to eat the blood of no manner of flesh, man. And this is why so much people get diseases. Because what do? People, especially these crackheads, they inject with a needle, man, which has their blood on it. Then someone else injects with that same needle, and then that person's blood touches that person's blood, and they get all these diseases, man. Because the blood is the life, man. You ain't meant to be touching blood like that and eating blood and all of those things, man. It's against God. Go ahead.
The life of all flesh is the blood thereof. Whosoever eateth it shall be cut off.
So whosoever eateth it shall be cut off, man. What does it mean to be cut off? You're no longer one of us. You go wander around over there. You're kicked out the land. Don't come around us. It's kind of like when today's terms, it's kind of like when you ban someone from the hood, man. You see, like when you ban someone from the hood, they can't come back around. That's what it's like to be cut off. You're banned. You can't come back around. You go live your life way out there because you ain't one of us no more. From there, give me Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 11. Now, with that, I just wanted to prove a point that once you was cut off, you was pretty much done. Once you was cut off, you was done, man. No return. But because of Yahushua, you've got a chance to come back.
Ephesians 2 and 11. Wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles.
No, it says ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh. Meaning what? Before this truth, you was a Rastaman. Before this truth, you was a Christian. Before this truth, you was a Buddhist. Before this truth, you was a following Buddha and some next nonsense. You was a Gentile in the flesh. Meaning the way you was living was like a Gentile. Before this truth, you was eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. In times past, you were Gentiles in the flesh. That's what it's talking about. This ain't talking about you was a white man and then now you can be an Israelite. It's not talking about that. It's just talking about the way you was living. You was living like a white man. You was living like an Arab. You was a Muslim. That's what I was talking about. In times past, you was a Gentile in the flesh. Go ahead.
Who are called on circumcision by that which is called circumcision in the flesh.
So now, you was called, basically, this is talking about the Jews that was in the land. They got circumcised on the 8th day, and they was calling the other ones that weren't circumcised on the 8th day uncircumcised and so forth. They was calling what? The 10 tribes and anyone that wasn't circumcised and wasn't a Jew outwardly. They was calling them unclean and uncircumcised and whatnot. That's what it talks about, the circumcision made by the flesh. That's what it's talking about. Because they were circumcised, made by the flesh, meaning what? They had got circumcised on the 8th day. Go ahead.
In the flesh.
And it says these people's called uncircumcised. Go ahead.
In the flesh made by hands.
In the flesh made by hands, meaning what? They was circumcised on the 8th day by hands, but their mind wasn't all the way circumcised. Go ahead.
That at that time ye were without Christ.
In that time ye were without Christ. Now there's a time when we was without Yahushua, man. There's a time before we was in the truth, we was without him, man. Listen, before Yahushua came on the scene, if you was following anything else other than the truth, and then you realize, oh, later on, you want to follow the truth, you couldn't, man, you was cut off. But Yahushua has gave you a second chance to come back and get it right, man. He's gave you a second chance to come through him and get it right. Whereas before, you do the wrong thing, you was out of our nation. Go ahead.
Being aliens from the commonwealth.
Says being aliens from the commonwealth. Now, an alien ain't one of those green things that comes out of a UFO. What you see in The Simpsons with the big eyes and it looks like an octopus with all the arms and whatnot. All the alien is just a stranger. An alien is just another word for a stranger. So one stage we was aliens. Go ahead. Well, strangers. Go ahead.
From the commonwealth of Israel.
From the commonwealth of Israel, man. Meaning what? We had no what's the commonwealth like? What citizenship? Like citizenship, man. We had no citizenship and whatnot. We were strangers from the commonwealth of Israel. Meaning what? We had no ties to it because we was Gentiles in the flesh, man. We was without Yahushua. We had no way of getting back. We had no relation to it and whatnot. Go ahead.
And strangers from the covenants.
And we were strangers from the covenants, meaning what? To this law, the promises, the agreements. We were strangers to these covenants. At one stage, we was without Yahushua, and none of these things belonged to us, man. We couldn't get our hands on none of these things, which means what? If we were strangers from the covenants, that means you had none of these promises. You had no promise of a kingdom. You had no promise of anything, man. Your life would just be, you know what? I'm a slave, and I'm a die slave, and that was it, man. Because we were strangers from the commonwealth and the covenants. Go ahead.
Having no hope.
Having what?
Having no hope.
And we were strangers from the covenants, having no hope. We had no hope whatsoever, man. Go ahead.
And without the Most High in the world.
And we was without the Most High, man, having no hope. And hope is what? When you want like what? A good outcome to something, man. That's what hope is. When you hope for a good outcome to something, you had no, listen, in your future, there was no good outcome. There was no kingdom for you. There was no covenants. There was no riches. There was going to be no good outcome for your life, man. But because of Yahushua, you now got some hope. You now got something to look forward to. You've now received a promise. Whereas before, you had none of that. You was just a slave that was just going to live and that was just going to die. Go ahead.
Verse 13. But now in Christ, ye were sometimes were far off.
And there was a time when we was far off, man. Time when we was afar off. There was a time when we was very far off. Go ahead.
Are made nigh.
And we was far off, meaning what? We was far away from the Lord, man. We was far away from this truth. We was cut off. Had no hope, like it just said in the previous verse. But now we made nigh. Go ahead.
By the blood of Christ.
And by the blood of Yahushua, we've been brought nigh, man. We've been brought back. Whereas there was a time it was afar off. Whereas there was a time, if you was cut off, you was done. But now you brought nigh, meaning near, by the blood of Yahushua, man. By him giving his life for you. When he shouldn't have died, when you should have died, he gave his life so you could come back, man. So you could come back, so you could be brought back into the fold, so you could receive the adoption of a son, man. Because you was cut off. At one stage, the Most High weren't dealing with us. We didn't have the right to be called the sons of God at one stage, man. Because of Yahushua, we've been brought close, man. We've been adopted back into the covenant and so forth. Go ahead.
Verse 14. For he is our peace, who have made both one.
Who have made both one. This is talking about Christ bringing all the tribes back. Talking about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. He broke down the wall of partition and basically made us one. And your precepts for this is what I shall take them and make them one stick. I'm going to take them and make them one stick. And then about what is it? Grab a stick and write all the names of the tribes of Israel. That's your precepts for that. But give me Genesis chapter 32 and verse 27.
Genesis 32 and the 27th verse. And he said unto him, what is thy name?
So now, this is an angel, man, speaking to Jacob. And this is the same thing that happens when you come into this truth, man. You need to get a new name and you get into the work of the Lord. Go ahead.
And he said, Jacob, and he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel.
And the angel said to him, your name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. And when you come into this truth, you get a new name also. Abraham got a new name. Everyone else that came in got a new name. He said, your name shall be no more Jacob, but Israel. Go ahead.
For as a prince hast thou power with God.
And it says, for as a prince hast thou power with God. So once you come into this truth, you need to understand that you're no more just some random nigga. You're a prince of God, man. You need to understand that you're no more deadbeat. You're no more whatever else to call us. You're a prince of God.
That's right.
And Jacob right here was realizing that he's a prince of God, man. The angel told him he's a prince of God. And we, descendants of Jacob, which makes us princes of God, which means what? princes act in a certain manner. You don't see princes eating from the trash and dealing with any woman and whatnot. A prince only deals with a woman that's royalty, man, and that's how we should be. Only dealing with women of our nation. You don't see a prince. You don't see a prince dealing with some anybody. You don't see a prince just picking up some woman that's not of his nation and dealing with her. No way, man. If you do that, you end up like what's her name? Was it Diana? If it's like they end up like Diana, man, that crashed the car in where was it Paris? That crashed the car in Paris, man. You end up like that, man. Go ahead.
The power with God and with men and has prevailed.
And what it goes and has prevailed. Now, in order for you to get your name, you need to come in this school, man, and you have to be like Jacob. You have to fight and you have to prevail, man. You have to fight, man. Once you come to this truth, you have to be like Jacob. You have to fight, man. Them demons are gonna attack you, and what do you have to do? You have to prevail, man. You have to win. You can't lose to them demons. You can't give in to them demons, man. Go ahead.
Verse 29, and Jacob asked him.
Go back to verse 28.
28. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob.
And guess what? Jacob got his name by what? Wrestling with an angel, man. Jacob wrestled with an angel, and the angel told Jacob, let me go, man. And Jacob wouldn't let this angel go. And the angel touched Jacob's thigh, and his bone came out of place. And Jacob still held on, man. Which what? You can apply this to your life. You're going through hard things. Things ain't in place. You still hold on and fight, man. Don't be giving up, man. That we demons coming back strong. You have to hold on and prevail, man. Jacob held on when Jacob could have let go and said, you know what? Man, my thigh bone's out of place. Let me just give up. Jacob held on, man. Apply this to your life. Them demons is attacking you. You hold on to the Lord, man. And you make sure you prevail in the end, and the Lord will have a reward for you, man. Same how Jacob held on to this angel right here. He got a reward in the end, man. He got his name, man.
That's right.
He got his name changed. He became a prince of God, man. Because he held on. When he was going through hard times, when his thigh bone was out of place, he didn't give up. He didn't say, you know what? Let me let go because my thigh bone's out of place. Listen, pull that verse for me when he held on. And the angel said, let me go. We said morning time or something along them lines.
I got it. Verse 25. Verse 25. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. And
listen, man, he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh, which means what? It's kind of nearby your pelvis bone. I think it's nearby your pelvis bone, the hollow of his thigh. He touched it, man, and it came out of place. Go ahead.
And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint.
And his thigh was out of joint, man, meaning his bone was out of place. And Jacob still held on, man. He still didn't let go. When these demons is attacking you, you need to hold on to the Lord, man. You need to fight and you need to not let go. Go ahead.
As he wrestled with him.
And Jacob wrestled with the angel, man. These demons is attacking you. You better wrestle with these demons. But this was an angel. I'm not saying this was a demon. This was an angel, but I'm using it as an example as when these demons come and attack you, you better wrestle with them, man. You better prevail, man. You better prevail until they flee from you, man. Go ahead.
Verse 26. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh.
And listen, man, the angel couldn't take no more, man. He said, let me go, man. He goes, let me go, man, for the day breaketh, meaning it's a new day, man. Come on, man, let me go. And Jacob wouldn't let him go. Go ahead.
And he said, I will not let thee go.
And Jacob said, I will not let thee go. Jacob held on to this angel, man. Go ahead.
Except thou bless me.
And Jacob wasn't letting the angel go without a blessing, even though he was in pain, his thigh was out of place, and so forth. He didn't let the angel go, man, until he got this blessing. Go ahead.
Verse 27. And he said unto him, what is thy name?
So now the angel's going to give him the blessing. Go ahead.
And he said, Jacob.
And Jacob means what? Supplanter.
That's right.
Jacob means supplanter, man. Go ahead.
And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel.
He said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. Go ahead. And it's going to tell you why his name was called Israel now. Go ahead.
For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and has prevailed.
And Jacob prevailed, man. That's why he got that name change. Go ahead.
And Jacob asked him,
Give me Romans chapter 8 and verse 12.
Romans 8 and 12. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh to live after the flesh.
So we debtors not to the flesh to live after the flesh. Meaning what? What does it mean to live after the flesh? Which means you just live however you want to live. You want to eat pork, you just go and eat pork. You want to be a homosexual, you just go and be a homosexual. That's what it means to live after the flesh. Whatever's pleasing to you, whatever lust you have, whatever lust you want to fulfill, you living after the flesh, you're just going to go and fulfill it. Go ahead.
For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die.
And if you live after the flesh, you're going to die, man. If you do the things which is pleasing to you, you're going to die. Because smoking weed's pleasing to you because it makes you feel at ease. It helps you go to sleep until you get cancer, man. Until you're sitting down with that face mask. You living after the flesh, you're going to die. Go ahead.
But if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body.
So if you through the Spirit mortify the deeds of the body, what's the deeds of the body? What your flesh wants, what your body wants. Now your body wants what? Whores, weed, drugs. That's what your body wants. But if you through the Spirit mortify the deeds of the body, if you live according to the Spirit and keep the deeds of the body under control and not fulfill what your body wants you to fulfill, you will live. Go ahead. Because obviously if you walk after the Spirit, you ain't going to end up in the strip club. You're not going to end up in the brothel. You're not going to end up taking drugs. That's what your body wants. Your body wants all these things, but the Spirit don't want these things. So if you live according to the Spirit, you will mortify the deeds of the body. Go ahead.
Ye shall live, for as many as are led by the Spirit of God.
It says, for as many what are led by the Spirit of God. Go ahead.
They are the sons of God.
They are the what?
The sons of God.
So what's these Christians on about when they're saying there's only one Son of God? What does this say right here?
They are the sons of God.
And we led by the Spirit, so we the sons of God also, man. Yahushua is the Son of God, we the sons of God also, man. So what don't people understand? What don't people understand when it says Yahushua is the Son of God? We the sons of God also, man. And because we the sons of God, guess what? We joint heirs, man. Meaning we're gonna receive the promises from our Father because we sons as well. You see how sons receive what their father gives them. We sons of God, so we're gonna receive what our Father's gonna give. The white man ain't a son of God, so he ain't receiving nothing from God. Just death. That's all he's gonna receive from God is death and destruction, man. Go ahead.
Verse 50. For ye have not received the spirit of bondage.
For we have not received the spirit of bondage. Meaning, what's bondage? Bondage is like what? Jail. Bondage is like when you're trapped. We ain't received that spirit of bondage. Before Yahushua, back then people had the spirit of bondage because basically, with the laws, basically people back then they wasn't keeping the laws because it was the right thing to do. They was just keeping the laws because they know if they broke them, they was gonna die. Really, they wanted the laws, but they know if they had them, they was gonna die. So really, they didn't have the spirit of the law. They didn't have the understanding of the law. They just was like, you know what? I'm only keeping this because I don't want to die. It's like most people today, they want to be drug dealers, but they don't want to go to jail. They don't see it as, I'm not being a drug dealer because it's the wrong thing to do. They just see it as, if I do it, I'm going to go to jail. They would do it if the punishment wasn't there, kind of thing. Go ahead.
Again to here, but ye have received the spirit of adoption.
And we've received the spirit of adoption, man. Meaning we've received The spirit of adoption, the Lord bringing us back into the fold because we was once cut off. Go ahead. We've been adopted back into the covenant. Go ahead.
Whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit.
And the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit. How do you know that? By reading the Bible and seeing how the Most High wants it. We doing exactly how He wants it, man.
That's right.
We good sons of the Father. Like if you see the Father and the Son are the same, it lets you know, all right, then that guy is that son. That guy is the son of that certain man. Like us, man. We the sons of the Most High. Because when you read this book right here, we doing everything the Most High instructs us to do, which lets you know that we good sons. It's like a man that has a son that's rebellious, that don't listen, don't want to follow that father's orders. What does that father do? Kicks him out, man. Says, you know, son of mine. But the son that honors him, does everything he says. The father loves that son. We that son, man, that the father loves because we do what he says, and we've been adopted back into the fold. Go ahead.
That we are the sons of God. And if the children, then heirs of God, and joint heirs with Yahushua.
And we what?
And joint heirs with Yahushua.
And what's the heir? Someone who what inherits something, man. An heir is what? Someone that gets inheritance, man. And we joint heirs with Yahushua. You know why? Because Yahushua is our big brother, man. And the Lord promised him everything, and we joint heirs with him. But in order to be a joint heir with him, obviously you have to serve God. Don't think you're going to smoke weed on every corner and when the promises comes, you're just going to have a nice seat in the kingdom. And it don't work like that, man.
That's right.
You have to be led by the Spirit and be one of the sons of God. Or what you are going to be is one of God's kids who he's not dealing with, man. One of God's kids who he's not dealing with because you're disobedient, you don't listen. It's like your father. You think your father's going to give you inheritance when he knows that you're a drug addict. He ain't going to give you that, man. You wouldn't even deserve it. Because what are you going to do with that inheritance? You're going to go give it away to the white man for some cocaine, man. You're going to go give it away to the white man for some heroin. So you ain't even worthy of the inheritance if you ain't walking after the Spirit. Because for your loss, you would give away. Listen, you would give away everything just to fulfill your loss, man. And the Lord can't have you doing that. Go ahead.
If so be that we offer with him, that we may also be glorified.
And listen, we suffer with him. We have to suffer with him. Now, you might be low in a lower state right now. No money, no job, no this, no that. We have to suffer, man. Don't think your life's going to be great now and then your life's going to be great after. You have to go through a bit of suffering. And once you go through suffering, that's how we know what you're made of. If everything's going good, listen, if everything's going good, obviously you're going to stay in the truth, man. If everything's going good, you're going to stay in the truth. But once people start getting tried and going through trials, that's when they falter under pressure. And that's when you see the real them. Listen, just take away a man's money and you'll see the real him. Take away his car, you'll see the real him. Take away what he loves, you'll see the real him. You'll see if he's down with the Lord or if he's not down with the Lord. But while he's got it all, you can't tell. I mean, it's like your woman. When things is going good, when you're taking your woman on all these nice dates to these restaurants, obviously she's not going to act up. But when times are going bad, that's when you're going to find out if she's the type to make a Facebook post about you, if she's the type to slander you in front of others. That's when you find out what your woman's about, when things ain't going so good. But when things are going good, obviously she ain't going to kick up a fuss because there's no need to. And this is why once you come in the truth, you have to suffer certain things. You have to be tried. You have to go through trials to see what you're made of. Job had to be tried, man, to see what Job was made of. Because even Satan said, listen, the only reason Job honors you is because there's a hedge around him. That's what Satan said to the Lord. You've got a hedge around Job, so that's the only reason why he honors you. If you remove that hedge, then you're going to see the real him. And guess what? That hedge was removed. Job lost everything, man. And Job still held on to the Most High. And the Lord rewarded him double fold, man. And this is why you shouldn't falter under pressure. Because you have to suffer in order to gain, man. You have to lose things in order to gain double fold. Go ahead.
Verse 18, for I reckon that the offerings at this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us.
So listen, this suffering that you're going through right now, these hard times that you're going through right now, it's nothing compared to the glory you're going to receive, man. You can't even compare the two. What you're going through right now is so small to the glory you're about to receive, man. If you stay strong and serve the Lord, it's nothing compared to that glory you're about to receive. That's what Paul's basically. What book's this? Yeah, that's Paul. Yeah, that's what Paul's basically saying right there. You can't even compare the two. Now, if you leave the truth over something petty, you don't even know what was in store for you, man. You had something great which was in store for you, but you left the truth over something little, man. Go ahead.
Verse 19, for the earnest expectation.
Let's sit on that. Give me 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 3. And also, if you got any questions, just type them in and we'll get to them. First Peter's chapter 1 and verse 3.
1 Peter's 1 and 3. Blessed be the God, the Father of our Lord Yahushua.
So blessed be the Most High, man, the Father of Yahushua.
Which according to his abundant mercy.
According to his abundant mercy, man. Go ahead.
Have begotten us again.
Have begotten us again, man. Have brought us back again, man. Begotten means what? Kind of like what? Born, something born again. We've been begotten again, man. We've been given a chance to be born again, man. Go ahead. To come back and serve the Lord. To be joint heirs. Because the old man could never be a joint heir with Yahushua, man. The old man was so evil and wicked that you have to be begotten again. You have to be born again. You have to come back as a new man in order to be a joint heir. Go ahead.
Begotten us again unto the lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua.
Unto the lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua, man. Go ahead.
From the dead. And
Yahushua had to die and he was raised again. And the same way your old man has to die and has to rise up as a new man. Go ahead.
To an inheritance incorruptible.
And to an inheritance which is incorruptible. Yahushua went through all his suffering, man. Died, put a strong upon the cross. He didn't give up, man. He died, strung upon the cross and so forth. And now he's been raised up and he's got an excellent inheritance which is incorruptible. And we join heirs. So for us to partake in that, we need to do the same thing. So we can have an inheritance which is incorruptible. What's incorruptible? Something that can't be destroyed. Like people want riches. People want the riches of the world, which obviously the policeman just kicks in your door and takes them. Those riches can be destroyed. Ours can't, man. Ours is going to be incorruptible.
That's right.
We're going to have stuff which can't be destroyed and whatnot. Go ahead.
And undefiled.
And undefiled. Go ahead.
And that fadeth not away.
And that fadeth not away. Meaning the riches of this world, it fades away, man. The riches of this world, it don't last forever. Everything you got now, one day it's going to go. Like your riches of the world is what? A car. 10 years time, that car is going to be discontinued. It's going to be old. You're not going to be able to drive it on the road like what they're doing with the cars today. What was the paying $2,000 to get? They were paying $2,000 to get them off the road, right? Was that the old cars was paying $2,000 to get them off the road, man? If you count that riches and you put all your love and trust in that, these things is corruptible. These things is going to go one day. They ain't going to last forever. Go ahead.
Which is undefiled. And that fadeth not away. And
our riches is not going to fade away. Our kingdom is not going to fade away. You're in love with the white man's kingdom. His kingdom's going down, man. It's going downhill. His kingdom's going to fade away. Our kingdom ain't going to fade away. Our kingdom is going to be forever and ever and ever. So you fighting for this kingdom, you're doing yourself a disservice because this is going to fade away. This white man's kingdom is corruptible. This white man's kingdom is going to be destroyed from off the face of the earth. and then ours is going to be established, and ours is going to be incorruptible, like the Bible's saying. Go ahead.
Right. Reserved in heaven for you.
And all these things is reserved for us. What does reserved means? If you go to a shop, right? If you reserve something online, what does it mean? It means it's waiting for you, man. If you reserve something, it means it's there and it's waiting for you, and no one else is going to get it, man. These things is reserved for us. But how much do you want it? It's reserved. It's right there. But how much do you want it? Are you willing to change your life to get it? It's reserved for you. The question is, how much do you want it? It's like when a shop reserves something for you for 24 hours. How much do you want it, man? It's up to you if you want to go and get it. These riches is reserved for you. All you have to do is go and get it, man. And how do you go and get it? By getting in the I.S.U.P.K, by serving the Lord, camps, classes, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man. By getting your brothers out the world. That's how you get it. It ain't hard. It's reserved for you. It's right there. But you just need to do something to get it. Obviously, if you ain't going to do nothing to get it, obviously you're never going to get it, man. And then guess what's going to happen? Those riches that is reserved for you, because you don't want it, the Lord's just going to give it to somebody else, man. Your crown's right there. How much do you want your crown? It's up to you. Go ahead.
Verse 5, who are kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation.
And it's kept, man, through faith. And what's faith mean? What belief? Faith's like what? Belief, man. You have to have belief. Go ahead.
Ready to be revealed in the last time.
And it's ready to be revealed in the last time. And we have faith and hope, and we know that these things are going to be revealed in the last time. Go ahead.
Wherein greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness.
And now, for this season, we're in heaviness. Remember, it said this is just a season. A season don't last forever. So you might be going through things right now, but what you're going through right now ain't going to last forever. This is something small. You're only going through this for a season, man. A season, just for a matter of time, just for a period of time. That's all. You're only going through it for now. You're not going to be going through it forever. Whenever you're feeling like giving up, just understand that this is only for a season, man. You're only going through hardship for a season. It depends what you do during that season. Go ahead.
Ye are in heaviness through the manifold temptations.
And obviously, once you come to this truth, you're going to be tempted, man. Now, there's things you used to do in the world that obviously you miss doing. Obviously, it's going to be on your mind like, I used to do that. You're going to be tempted to do it again, but don't do it, man. Don't do it, man. Even Paul went through things, man. Even Paul went through things. He had a thorn in his side, man. It's not a little thorn in his side. It was just something that was bothering him, man. Something he was suffering with. We all have temptations. We all have temptations, man. But it all depends what you do with these temptations. What do you do? Just give up and be like, let me just go. Let me just go do it. Like, you can't just keep doing this and saying, let me just go do it, then feeling bad afterwards. No, man. You have to fight them temptations. You have to fight them urges. And the best thing to do is pick up the phone and get counsel. Pick up the phone and get counsel, man. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and say to a brother, you know what? I'm feeling like going to the strip club tonight. I've got my money ready. I'm feeling like going. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone, man. Pick up the phone, and the brother on the other end of the phone would instruct you, man, and say, yo, you don't want to do that, man. That brother will say, you know what? Come around here, and you won't be able to go to the strip club. You being amongst the brotherhood, you won't be able to go off. And this is why all these solo Israelites like to be on their own, because they know certain things they want to do, they can't do it around brothers. They know certain lifestyles they want to live, they can't do it around brothers. So they make out like, oh, we don't want to join the UPK. We've no camps. Because obviously they know if they was around us, they couldn't be smoking weed, man. They couldn't be doing all the wickedness that they're doing. But when it's just them, a solo Israelite on their own, they're free to do what they want. No one can't tell them nothing. But when you come in here, there's men in here that can tell you something. So that's why they don't want to come here. Don't make them lie to you about, oh, we can all serve God from our house. That's a lie. They're just doing some wickedness and they don't want it to be exposed and they want to continue in their wickedness. That's all it is. Go ahead.
That the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of the gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor.
Listen, man, we being tried, man. We going through trials right now. Go ahead.
And glory at the appearing of Yahushua HaMashiach.
And listen, man, we're gonna have some glory when Yahushua appears, man. But you have to be tried. I mean, if you ain't never been through nothing in your life, we don't know what manner of man you are. You have to go through some hard times in life. There's a few things in life you have to go through, man. You can't just have life all easy. Listen, life ain't gonna be a smooth ride the whole time. You're gonna go through some things. You're gonna go through some things which is gonna make you not want to get out of bed. You're gonna be upset, depressed, whatnot. You're gonna go through some things, man. I can't tell you this walk's gonna be easy because it's not gonna be easy. Go ahead. That was it. And give me Hebrews 11:1. There's a ton of things you have to go through in order for you to be a joint heir, man, with Yahushua.
The book of Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for.
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, man. And there's a ton of things that we hope for. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. No, go ahead. It's things that you don't even see, but you hope for it. Go ahead. You have faith that it's going to come one day. Go ahead.
The evidence of things not seen.
Now, you can't see this kingdom, but we have faith, man, and hope that we're going to make this kingdom, man. You got to have faith and hope. Go ahead.
For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God.
Through faith, we understand these things, man. This is things that you don't see, but through belief, you believe them, man. Through faith, through hope, you believe these things. Give me Romans chapter 8 and verse 24. And we hope all Israel makes it to the kingdom, man. But the thing is, most Israelites don't want to make it, man. They want to do their own thing. The white man's kingdom's too nice and too cozy and too comfortable. They don't want to make it, man. The only person who's stopping them, the only person who's stopping you from getting to the kingdom is yourself, man. No one else ain't stopping you. It's you stopping yourself. The ball's in your court. All depends what you're going to do with it. Go ahead.
Romans 8 and 24. For we are saved by hope.
For we are what?
For we are saved by hope.
Go ahead.
For hope that is seen is not hope.
For hope that is seen is not hope, man. Listen, that's like me saying, I hope Officer Parasha comes to class. That's not hope because he's already in class, man. I would have had to have been hoping before 7 o'clock that he comes to class, man. Hope is what? Something that's not seen. Go ahead. That's why you hope for it. It's like when you go have a job interview, what do you say? I hope I get this job. You don't hope after you've got the job. That's not hope. That wouldn't make no sense. So me saying, I hope all Israel makes the kingdom, that's what hope is. Now, if all Israel wasn't the kingdom, I wouldn't need to hope for it, man, because I've already seen it.
That's right.
Hope is something that is not seen, man. Go ahead.
For what a man say, why doth he yet hope for?
So if you see it, you don't need to hope for it. That's like me saying, I hope I get a new car after I've already got the car. That's not hope, man. You have to hope before you see it, and you need to hope that you make it to the kingdom, man. You need to come and make your election sure, man. Go ahead.
But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience.
And listen, when you hope for things, you have to have patience. We hope all Israel could make it to the kingdom, man. We hope all Israel would come to the truth. We hope at camp next week we get 50 brothers in the truth, man. That's what we hope. And with hope, you have to have patience. You have to have patience, man. It don't happen overnight. Go ahead.
With patience, wait for it.
And with patience, you have to wait for it. In this truth, you have to be patient, man. You have to be patient. You have to understand things don't happen overnight. Understand this. You're going to go through trials and so forth. Go ahead.
Verse 26. Likewise, the Spirit.
That was it on that. Give me Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 2.
The book of Zechariah 1 and 2. Therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, turn ye unto me.
And the Lord saying, turn ye unto me. That's what we need to do, because we turned our back on the Lord. We turned our back on the Lord, meaning what? We wanted to go into Christianity, Islam, Egyptology. It's time we turn back and go back to the old paths like the Bible says, man. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord of hosts, and I will turn unto you.
And the Lord said, you know what? You turn to me, I'll turn to you. The Lord saying, you come back to me, I'll come back to you. That's what the Lord say, man. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord of hosts, verse 4. Be not as your fathers.
It says, be not as our fathers, because our fathers were hard-headed, they were stubborn. Go ahead.
Unto whom the former prophets have cried, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, turn ye now.
And listen, the prophets of old said to our fathers, man, turn ye now, turn back to the Lord. They thought it was some joke. They didn't want to listen. They wanted to continue doing what they was doing. Wanted to continue living how they was living. Kind of like today, man. We on the streets telling people, turn back to the Lord. They want to mock us. They don't want to listen. Go ahead.
Turn ye now from your evil ways.
And this is what we need to do. Turn from our evil ways. If you want to be joint heirs with Yahushua, you need to turn from your wicked ways. Which means what? You have to put down that drug dealing. Put down all manner of wickedness which goes against the Lord. All of that has to be put down in order for you to be a joint heir, man. In order for you to take part in this glory, this kingdom, these riches, you have to turn away from your evil ways. Or if you don't, you're going to die right along with the white man. If you don't, you're going to die right along with him. And the Lord don't want you to die with him, but the way you're living, you're going to have to die with him. Do you think the knife crime in London needs to be so high? It doesn't, but obviously we don't turn from our evil ways. So obviously the knife crime is getting higher and keeps rising and so forth. Go ahead.
And from your evil doings.
And from our evil doings, meaning what? Our evil actions, man. The things that we do is evil. We need to turn away from our evil actions, from our doings, things that we do. Go ahead.
But they did not hear.
But what?
But they did not hear.
And listen, man, this is black people for you. They did what?
They did not hear.
And this is black people for you, man. They did not hear. And listen, our people are hard of hearing, man. In the Bible, what does it call it? Stiff-necked. In the Bible, it calls it stiff-necked, man. We are hard of hearing, stiff-necked people that don't want to hear. We don't want to hear. We don't want to hear what the prophets say. We don't want to hear how to change our life. We don't want to hear how to raise our kids. We don't want to hear how to fix our communities. We don't want to hear. Just like our fathers didn't want to hear. And guess what? Where did we end up? In slavery. Seems like we must love being in slavery. Seems like we must love the white man ruling over us, oppressing us. We must like it. Because obviously we don't want to hear the way to get ourselves out of captivity. Because we are stiff-necked people. We're hard of hearing. And that's just black folks for you, man. Hard of hearing. Your grandma's been telling you it all your life that you're hard of hearing. She was hard of hearing too. Her grandma was hard of hearing too. And this is why we're in the position we're in, man. Because we are stiff-necked people, like the Lord says. Go ahead.
Nor hearken unto me, saith the Lord.
And we don't hearken unto the Lord. Hearken means to listen. We don't listen to the Lord. We don't listen to what's right. We don't listen to what's wrong. We just do whatever's pleasing to us. We be like, I'm my own man. I'm going to do whatever's pleasing to me. We're like, you know what? You only live once. I'm going to do what I want. We be like, I got one life to live. I'm going to do whatever's pleasing to me. That's how we live. And that's why we die so much. Because we only live once. All right, then the Lord's just going to take us out, man. Go ahead.
Your fathers, where are they? And the prophets, do they live forever?
And listen, man. It says, your fathers, where are they? They're dead now, man. They died in their wickedness.
That's right.
and it says the prophets, where they do live forever. Listen, all the prophets in this book have always been telling Israel, listen, get straight, man, do the right thing. They died teaching this thing, man. They died teaching the same thing that we teaching right now. They died telling Israel the same thing, man. Until Yahushua returns, we're going to keep telling you, man. Even when we die and the prophets which is raised up after us, we're going to keep telling you the same thing. Go ahead.
Verse 6, but my words and my statutes, which I commanded my servants, the prophets, did they not take hold of your fathers?
And listen, the words which the Lord said to the prophets, did it not take hold of our fathers? The Lord told the prophets, tell them they're going in captivity if they don't listen. Guess what happened? Them words took hold of them, man. What does the Lord say now? You're going to die a horrible death if you don't keep his law, statutes, and commandments. What happens? We die a horrible death, man. From there, give me Matthew chapter 11 and verse 16. Them words took hold of our fathers, and them same words is taking hold of us that refuse to come into the truth. We refuse to come into the truth. Them words is going to take hold of us, meaning what? What's them words? You're going to die along with the white man. You're going to die in the Third World War if you don't want to serve God. Those words is going to take hold of you if you ain't serving God. Go ahead.
Matthew 11 and 16. But whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto
and this is Yahushua giving them a saying, man. It's like unto children. Go ahead.
Sitting in the markets.
And listen, man, it's like unto children sitting in the markets. Go ahead.
And calling unto their fellows and saying, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced.
Listen, man, we be out there giving you the truth, man. We piped up. What's piped? To play music. That's all it is, man. We piped unto you and you haven't danced. We be giving brothers the truth, man. They don't want to hear it. They want to turn up their ears. They want to cover their ears. Listen, when someone's playing music, what do? You dance to that music, man. What we're giving you right now is the truth. Nobody wants to dance to this truth, man. Nobody wants to listen to it. Nobody wants to get up in the school. Nobody wants to serve God. We've piped on you and you haven't danced. To go ahead.
We have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented.
We have mourned unto you, and you have not lamented, man. You ain't cried and whatnot. From there, give me John chapter 1 and verse 6. And this is us, man. We out there in them streets, in the highways and the byways. We telling black men, change your life. Guess what? That goes in one ear and comes out the next. We telling women, don't cheat on your husbands, don't do this, don't do that. Guess what? That goes in one ear and comes out the next. We telling brothers, don't smoke weed, man. What does that do? That goes in one ear and comes out the next. We telling them, don't smoke anything. That goes in one ear and comes out the next. But listen, man, a man who smokes weed, listen, or cigarettes, I don't expect him to listen to me. Because on the box it says, smoking gives you lung cancer. He don't even listen to the very box where it tells him he's going to die on the cigarette box. He don't even listen to what it says on the cigarette box. So how do I expect him to listen to me reading the Bible, man? I might as well. Listen, if what it says in the cigarette box can't help him, who am I? I can't help him either, man. I'm just telling them, listen, God said, don't be a sinner. The cigarette box is telling them, you're going to, smoking kills. It tells him smoking kills, and guess what he does? Opens the box like this, lights up his cigarettes. Listen, man, if he ain't even going to listen to what it says on the cigarette box, I don't expect him to listen to me. Listen, he loves the white man, and the white man tells him lung cancer kills. He ain't even listening to him. So I don't expect him to listen to me. So, okay, go ahead.
John 1 and 6.
Yeah, John 1.
John 1 and 6. There was a man sent from God whose name was John.
And that says there was a man sent from God whose name was John. Go ahead.
The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men...
And the same came for a witness, man, to bear witness of the light. Now, who's the light? Yahushua, man. What does light do? Light is what? So you can see in darkness, man. Yahushua was the man that had all the answers and so forth. He was the man that was going to show you the way and so forth, the man that you should follow, the man to save your life. That's who he was, man. He was the light of this world. Go ahead.
That all men through him might believe.
That all men through him might believe, man. All men is meant to go through you. How shall I go ahead?
He was not that light.
And John was not that light. John came to testify of that light. Same like we here testifying of Yahushua right now. The same thing John's telling you is the same thing we telling you right now, man. There's a man who died for you by the name of Yahushua. The world ignorantly calls him Jesus Christ, man. Go ahead.
But was sent to bear witness of that light.
But was what?
Sent to bear witness of that light.
And John was sent to bear witness of that light, man. Go ahead.
Okay, it's funny, people that follow the Islamic religion, they like to use this to say that with Christ, he's not the Messiah when he's talking about John. He's not that light, not
that's what you use it to say.
Yeah.
It's clearly evidence, man, that it says that John wasn't that light, man. John's telling you about Yahushua, that Yahushua is that light. Go ahead.
Verse 9, that light, sorry, that was the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made, but the world was made by him. So it says
Yahushua was in the world, man. Meaning what? He lived in the world and it was made by him. He created everything you see. Go ahead. When it says was in the world, it's not talking about how we say that brother's in the world. It's not talking about that. It's just on about basically he was on earth kind of thing. Go ahead.
And the world knew him not.
And the world knew him not, man. Meaning they didn't know him. They didn't reverence him. They didn't respect him. They didn't honor him. They didn't honor him, man. Go ahead.
But he came unto his own.
And he came unto his own. He came unto the Jews, man. Or some Christians use this to say he came unto his own and they rejected him. But listen, it explains, man. He came unto his own. Go ahead.
And his own received him not.
And he came unto the Jews and the Jews received him not. Now, did it say all the Jews didn't receive him? Because that's what these Christians like to make out, that none of the Jews received him. It says he came to his own and they received him not. Read on.
But as many as received him.
But as what?
As many as received him.
But it says, but as many as received him. And who receives him right now? Us in the I.S.U.P.K, man. We receive him, man. Us Israelites, we receive him, man. But there's a ton of us that don't receive him. Go ahead.
To them gave he power to become the sons of God.
And to them gave he power to become the sons of God. And we, the sons of God, man, we receive that power to become the sons of God because we receive Yahushua, which means what? We follow his orders. We follow what he says. We reverence him. We honor him. We respect him. That's what we do. We follow him, man. Yahushua is our king. We understand that. But people in the world don't understand that. They receive him not. Everybody that turns up their nose at camp and don't want to listen, they receive him not, man. They disrespect him. They the ones who received him not. But it says, for as many that received him, he gave them the power to be the sons of God. And we the sons of God, man, because we receive him. Go ahead.
Even to them that believe on his name.
Even to them that believe on his name, which means what? His doctrine and so forth, man. We believe in that, man. We follow the doctrine of Yahushua. These Old Testament Israelites, they're the ones that received him not, man. All these, what is it Zion Lex? Is he Old Testament?
Not anymore.
Oh, it's New Testament now.
Yeah.
Oh, most of them Christ. But yeah, most of them, all them Old Testament Israelites, they receive him not, man. While we receive him, and we've been given the right to be called sons of God. Go ahead.
Which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh. Which was born not of blood, but the will of the flesh. Meaning we wasn't born, we ain't the sons of God because of the will of the flesh and whatnot. Go ahead. Nor of the will of man, but of God. But of God. Like when you come in here and you serve God, you're born of God, man. Now, obviously, if when it talks about so I can read that verse again. Verse 30, which were born not of the blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God.
But listen, we was born of God, man. How do you be born of God? By doing everything God requires you to do. It's that simple. It ain't hard. Christians make it like to be born of God is some how are they born again? They say some, I think they say some words in church, is that what they do? Say some weird words in church. To be born of God means to serve him and do as he requires. But understand this only pertains to Israelites. Whether the white man keeps every law in the Bible, he can't be born of God, man, because God ain't dealing with no other nations. He ain't dealing with the white man, the Chinese, the Arabs. He's only dealing with the Israelites. Only Israelites can be born of God, and only Israelites are born of God, man. Nobody else, man. Every black man is basically born of God, but obviously they want to live like a Gentile. You ain't meant to be living like a Gentile, man. God made you separate for a reason, because he wants you to follow him. You're his kids, man. Let the white man follow who he wants to follow. He's not a child of God. He's not a child of God, the white man, the Arabs, and so forth, but you are. So you can't be living like them other nations. From the, what verse?
Verse 14.
Yeah, give me Matthew chapter 22 and verse 14.
Matthew 22 and the 14th verse. It's like it. Matthew 22 and the 14th verse. For any are called.
See, the Bible says, for many are called. Many people are called. What do you think we're doing at camp? We call them many, but we understand that not everyone's going to come in. It says, for many are called. The parable about this is the parable of the wedding when he sent them out to bid them to the feast. They called many people to the feast. Go ahead. Many are called. We are calling many. Go ahead.
But you are chosen.
But few are chosen, man. Many are called, but few are chosen. We call them many, and the Lord chooses who he wants in here, man. You ain't in here by no coincidence. You ain't in here because you wanted to be in here. You in here because the Lord wants you in here, man.
That's right.
Many are called, but few are chosen. Now, don't be like GMS who are saying, oh, this is for the, we only out here for the elect. Listen, man, your job is to call many, and the Lord chooses who he wants. As far as you know, everybody's the chosen. You don't know who's who. All you know is you've got a job to do. Your job is to call many, and the Lord's going to choose the few that he wants. That's it. You don't pick and you don't trying to be sift people out talking about, oh, the Lord don't want him, but the Lord. How do you know who the Lord wants, man? GMS make out like they know who the Lord wants. Listen, man. What makes them think that the Lord even wants them, man?
That's right.
In their potato sack garments, in their potato sacks. What makes them think the Lord even wants them, man? It says many are called, but few are chosen. Our job is to hit the highways and byways and call many, and the Lord chooses who he wants. That's all I wanted, and give me Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 3. Many are called and few are chosen. So our job is to call many, call all Israel to repentance, and the Lord chooses who he wants. Understand this. If you're in here, the Lord chose you over many people, man. The Lord could have chose someone else, but he chose you. The Lord wants you in here. Now, what are you going to do once you're in here? You better make sure you do the right thing, because the Lord chose you. You've been chosen, man. Make the most of that, you being chosen. Many are called, but few are chosen. Go ahead.
Ephesians 1 and 3. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Yahushua.
It says, blessed be the Most High, man. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Yahushua. Go ahead.
Who have blessed us with all spiritual blessings.
You have blessed us with all spiritual blessings. Only in here we understand the spiritual blessings. Outside of this school, nobody else understands this, man. To them, it sounds crazy that you believe that a man's gonna come from the sky and you're gonna rule the earth. It sounds crazy when you say it to people outside of here. It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy when you say to people, "Yeah, I can't eat unleavened bread. No, I can't eat bread with leaven in for 7 days." Say that to someone, they look at you like you're crazy. I'm like, you can't eat. They look at you like you're crazy. They don't understand these things. But there's a reason why the Lord has called you in here, because the Lord wants you to understand these things, man. Understand this. You have an advantage over everybody else on the face of the earth.
Right.
You understand spiritual things, and the Lord's called you, man. Make your election sure. Make your calling sure, man. Go ahead.
In heavenly places in Christ, according as he has chosen us in him before the foundation.
Hold on, he have what?
He has
listen. Many are called, few are chosen. He have what?
He have chosen us.
Listen, man, the Lord chooses who he wants. And if you're in here, the Lord's chose you, man. So don't be coming up in here and then trying to leave the truth over some nonsense. Because the Lord chose you, man. Go ahead.
In him before the foundation of the world.
He was chosen before the foundation of the world, man. He was ordained to be a prophet. Like it says in, is it Jeremiah 1:5? He knew the prophets from the womb, man. From before the womb, man. He knew the prophets. The Lord knows you also. The Lord's got you in here for a reason. Don't think you're just in here for no reason. Don't think you're just in here as a spectator. Don't think you're in the online class as a spectator. You could be doing something else. You could be on YouTube watching Avengers the Endgame. You could be watching Avengers the Endgame, but the Lord's got you in this online class, man. Because the Lord wants you in here. You could be doing something else with your life right now, but the Lord wants you in here. Go ahead.
That we should be holy and without blame.
That we should be holy. The Lord wants you in here to be separate. That's what holy means, separate. The Lord wants to separate you from everybody else, and he wants you to do the work of the Lord. Same like how the Lord separated Abraham from his family. Said to Abraham, listen, leave your family and go to that land. Same thing, man. The Lord wants you to come in here and leave the world. The Lord wants you to leave the world behind. In order for you to be a joint heir, you have to leave this world behind. Don't think you're gonna get Don't think you're gonna rule in the white man's world and rule in our kingdom. No, it don't work like that, man. It don't work like that, man. Christ said his kingdom is not of this world. So you need to examine yourself. If your kingdom is of this world, obviously you ain't serving Yahushua, man. Because our kingdom is not of this world. Yahushua said this, if his kingdom was of this world, then would his servants fight? That's what he said. Same thing, man. Our kingdom ain't of this world. Or if our kingdom was of this world, we would be fighting to take it over right now, but we're not, because we know our kingdom is not of this world. From there, give me Matthew chapter 25 and verse 31.
Which verse is that?
Matthew chapter 25 and verse 31.
Matthew 25 and verse 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory.
This is Yahushua talking. It goes, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory. Because at this time, Yahushua was where? On the earth. He wasn't in his glory. Same like now. We not in our glory. People look at us like we're low, man. In a low state. People look at us like we're nothing. Yeah, they looked at Yahushua the same way. That's what Yahushua said, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory. What Yahushua was saying is, yo, all these niggas is sleeping on me right now. They're thinking I'm, just some low man. But when I come in my glory, like when it comes in the state, how they seen him in Ezra when he was taller than everyone. I think John seen him in his glory, right? John seen him in his glory when he had the white hair, the white beard, the golden girdle. At this time, Yahushua was just what? Just on the earth, looking like a regular man like us. He weren't in his glory. So he's saying to his men and the Pharisees that are around him, yo, when the Son of Man comes in his glory, meaning what? When I come back on that white horse, when I come back looking fresh to death, when I come back with all power, he's letting them know, because at this stage, they're looking at him like, the Pharisees was looking at Yahushua like, oh, this man just talks nonsense. They're looking at him like, oh, this man just don't stop talking. That's how they're looking at him. That's how they look at us at camp, like, oh, geez, like, what kingdom are they going to have? They say, what kingdom are you going to have? You ain't even got a job. Listen, they're saying the same thing to Yahushua. So Yahushua saying, you know what? When the Son of Man comes in his glory, meaning when I come in when I come 100, when I turn up, when I come turned up, that's what it's basically saying right there. It's basically saying when I come fresh to death, turned up. Go ahead. Because they were sleeping on him. He's saying when I come looking fresh to death, he knew that one day he's going to come back fresh to death. Flyest garments you've ever seen. tall, everything. He knew he was going to come back like that, but they were sleeping on him. Listen, we're going to come back like that when we get our mortal bodies, man. We're going to come back in a glorious stage. Go ahead. So Yahushua said, when he comes in his glory, go ahead.
And all the holy angels with him.
And listen, Yahushua is saying, you know what? They're sleeping on me now. But when I come back with in my glorious stage with all my angels, when I come back with all these angels, go ahead.
Then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory.
And Yahushua, he's going to come back with a throne, man. He's going to own a kingdom. At this stage, what? He was just what? A carpenter's son. He was just a carpenter's son. So they're sleeping on him. Like, isn't this the son of Joseph? Yahushua is saying, yo, I'm coming back. When I come back looking glorious, when I come back with a kingdom and a throne, go ahead.
And before him shall be gathered all nations.
And Yahushua is saying, before me is going to be gathered all nations, man. Now he's going to give them a parable. Go ahead.
And he shall separate them one from another.
And he's going to separate the nations one from another. Because every nation ain't supposed to be together like how you've been taught. Everyone ain't supposed to come together like how you've been taught. Go ahead.
As a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
And he's going to divide the sheep from the goats, man. Who's the sheeps? In this verse, the sheeps is what? The Israelites that do the right thing, man. That is righteous. Go ahead.
And he shall set the sheep on his right hand.
And he's going to set the sheep on his right hand side. Who's the sheep? Those that hear his voice, man. What did Yahushua say? My sheep hear my voice. Those that hear Yahushua's voice, those is his sheep. The ones on his right hand side, they're going to be joint heirs with him in the kingdom, man. That's why he's dividing it right now in this scripture, saying those are on my right hand side and those on his left. Go ahead.
But the goats on the left, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my father.
And he's going to say to the sheep, come, ye blessed of my father, which means what? You followed Yahushua wherever he went, man. You served him, you served God, and you're blessed by God to be on that right hand side, man. Whereas everybody that ain't serving God ain't going to be on that right hand side. They ain't going to be blessed by the Father. Go ahead.
Inherit the kingdom.
Hold on, do what?
Inherit the kingdom.
He said inherit the kingdom. What's another word for inherit? Heir, right?
That's right.
So we joint heirs with Christ, man, and we're going to inherit the kingdom, blessed of his Father, which is the sons of God. We're going to be on the right hand side, and we're going to inherit that kingdom. No, sir. Okay. Let's lock it up. I'll take it off. No, sorry, I got it here. That's it. Give me a second. I'm just gonna pick it up in the Bible. Give me a second. Where was we? Matthew 25 and 31. Give me 1 second. Let me just pick it up. Matthew 25 and he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. And listen, this is prepared for us from the foundation of the world. And this is why we say you have to have faith, man. Faith is for something hoped for that you haven't seen. That's what faith is, man. And you have to hope to make that kingdom, and you have to make your election sure. It says, for I was hungered and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty and ye gave me drink. It says, for I was hungered and ye gave me food. Guess what? The I.S.U.P.K feed all Israel, man. That's what we do. You hear Yahushua saying, for I was hungered and you gave me meat. What do we do in the UPK? We do a food drive, man. We feed all Israel that's hungry. That's one thing we do. Then it says, I was thirsty and you gave me drink. We make sure no Israelites thirsty, man. We give them drink, man. That's what we do. It says, I was a stranger and you took me in. Guess what? We taking strangers, man. Commanding General Yahanna pays brothers rent, man. People he don't know, people he's never seen in his life. That's what we do. The Christian church don't do none of these things. The Christian church ain't gonna be blessed of the Father because they don't do none of these things, man. They don't feed the poor. They don't give the thirsty something to drink. They don't clothe Israelites. They don't feed Israelites. And it says, I was naked and ye clothed me. Guess what? We clothe Israelites, man. We send clothes in barrels to other countries, man, to brothers we've never seen. That's what we do in the I.S.U.P.K. Same thing Yahushua is saying here. We therefore blessed of the Father because everything you're reading in this chapter, these is the things that we do. I was sick and ye visited me. Guess what? We visit the sick of our people, man. We make sure they're all right. We pray for them. We check on them, see how they're doing. The Christian church don't care if you live or die, man. They don't care if you live or die. Whether you live or die, they care not. They just want your money. Says, and ye visited me. And ye visited me. I was in prison and ye came unto me. Hold on. Yahushua said, I was in prison and ye came unto me. And guess what? What do we have in the I.S.U.P.K? We have a prison program, man. We visit brothers in prison. Meanwhile, everyone writes them off and no one else cares about them. We visit these brothers in prison. We have a prison program. We write them letters, man. We have correspondence, man. We return their calls, man. We put money on their books in jail. Meanwhile, the Christian church and these fake Israelite groups do what? They have people in jail and they just throw them away. They no longer call them. They don't check how they're doing. They don't write to them. In here, we have prison programs. We respond to all your letters, man. We make sure you're good. We put money on your books. Everything Yahushua said in this chapter, we do that in this school right here. And I'm not lying. The history speaks for itself, man. It says, then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? And when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? So we're going to say to you, Yahushua, huh? When did we feed you, man? When did we take you in? We're going to say, when did we take you in? When did we feed you? We're going to say, huh? When did we clothe you? Because obviously we ain't seen Yahushua, so we're going to be like, when did we do all these things to you? And then it says, and the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me. And guess what? We take care of the least of Israel, man. So you see that poor brother that we fed? It's like we fed Yahushua. You see that poor brother that's in jail that we wrote letters to? It's like we wrote letters to Yahushua. You see that brother that needed clothes that we sent clothes to? It's like we gave clothes to Yahushua, man. Because we serve God. We treat all Israel good, man. We love our people. And Yahushua is going to say, he says, and the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Do you see that poor black man we clothed? You might as well say that was Yahushua we clothed, man. That poor black man we fed. That was Yahushua we fed, man. That poor black man we wrote letters to in jail. That was Yahushua we wrote letters to in jail, man. And he says, then shall he also say unto them on the left hand, depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. This is the Christian church, man. This is your Christian pastor. This is these fake Israelite groups, man. He's going to say, depart into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. Originally, this nuclear fire was prepared for the white man, but Israelites are going to have to die in there too, man, because they ain't serving God. They ain't doing the right thing. That's what this parable was about, man. It says, for I was hungered and you gave me no meat. That's the Christian church. You're hungry, guess what? They don't feed you, man. Every man for themselves. This is what they say. You don't work, you're not eating. That's what they say. It says, I was thirsty and you gave me no drink. No, sir. That's the Christian church, man. A black man would be thirsty. These Christians walk right past him. They don't give him no drink, man. It says, I was a stranger and you took me not in. Naked and you clothed me not. Guess what? The Christian church, they don't clothe nobody, man. They don't feed nobody. They don't have no food drives. They don't care about black people, man. Whereas we do. There's, and in prison, and you visited me not. The Christian church, you go to jail, that pastor throws you away, man. He don't want to write your letters. He don't want to deal with you no more. He don't want to pay your bail, man. He throws you away. And this is where Yahushua is going to say to him, you depart into everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels, man. Who's the devil? The white man. Who's the devil's angels? Everyone, who's the devil's angels? Everyone that does what the white man requires them to do, man. Everyone that joins the white man's military, everyone that joins the white man's world, everyone that joins onto the white man, you're an angel of the devil, man. An angel of the white man. That's what that's talking about. It says, then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hungered or athirst? The pastors are going to be like, Lord, when did we see you hungry? When did we see you thirsty? Says, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison. Then they're going to say, hold on, we ain't seen you before. When did we see you sick? When did we see you in prison? Says, and did not minister unto thee, which means what? Didn't serve thee. They're going to say, when did minister means to serve? They're going to say, when did we see you hungry? When did we not serve you? Says, then shall he answer them, saying, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you did it not to one of the least of these, you did it not to me. So you see that poor black man that the Christian walked past? You walked past Yahushua, man. You see that poor black man that had no clothes and you didn't clothe him? You didn't clothe Yahushua, man. That black man that was on the street sleeping because he had nowhere to stay. You let Yahushua sleep rough, man. You didn't do it to the least of the brethren. You didn't do that to Yahushua, man. And he says, and these shall go into everlasting punishment, man. You not doing these things. You ain't doing these things for Yahushua, man. From there, give me James chapter 2 and verse 14. So all them things that it said that the sheep do, we doing the UPK, man. We got this food drive going on. That's right. Prison programs. We got the barracks where people stay. And Yahushua said you're blessed because you do it to the least of the brethren. But your pastor, he sees poor black men as a liability and a bum and whatnot. Which means what? If Yahushua was here, he would see Yahushua as a bum, man. So Yahushua is saying, if you do it to the least, you didn't do it to the least of the brethren, you didn't do it to me. We do these things to the least of the brethren, so we do it for Yahushua. That's what that scripture right there is saying, man. Hey, no, sir. That's what that scripture right there is saying, man. We do these things, and you should do them things too, man. From them, I'm going to get James chapter 2 and verse 14. Let me get James chapter 2 and verse 14. Give me 1 second.
About who you are, identity, awareness, not going with that. So you got other open thing you just put in. Yeah, we do. Yes, we got that.
Give me 1 second.
There's tomorrow as well at the same time, 11 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Okay. Yeah.
So James chapter 2 and verse 14 says, what doeth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he have faith and have not works? Can faith save him? So listen, if a man says he have works, can faith, so like you pull up James 2 and verse 14.
Right. Book of James chapter 2 and verse 14. What does it profit, my brethren, though a man say he have faith and have not works?
Listen, what does it profit, man? What do you gain from saying you have faith and you don't have works? All these religions say they have faith, but they don't have no works whatsoever. They claim they believe in something, but by their actions, I can't see what they believe.
That's right.
I can't see what a Muslim believes by his actions. He sells drugs, man. I can't see what he believes. I can't see how his belief. Listen, Christians and Muslims show me that their belief is garbage by what they do, man. They say they have faith, but I don't see that faith by what they do. Go ahead.
Can faith save him?
Can faith save him? Go ahead.
If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, depart in
So
peace.
if a man's hungry and he's got no clothes, and one of you say what? Depart in peace. Go ahead.
Depart in peace. Be ye warmed and ill.
So listen, this is the Christian church. They tell you be warm and filled, man. Listen, that's just words. What we do in the UPK is actions, man. If you're hungry, we're going to feed you. If you need clothes, we're going to put clothes on your back. We show our faith by our works, man. You can see that we're serving the Most High by what we do. Whereas in church, they just tell you, oh, brother, I'm going to pray for you. Listen, man, we don't say that in here. Listen, we the answer to your prayers, man.
That's right.
We the answer to your prayers in here, man. We clothe you. You know what? You're praying for food. You're praying that you need food. Guess what? A man in the UPK is going to answer them prayers. He's going to bring the food for you, man. We the answer to your prayers. In church, they just say, all right, be full, like what it says in the scripture. Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, ye give them not those things which are evil to the body.
And listen, man, they need these things. In church, they're not going to give you. In these fake Israelite groups, they're not going to give you. They have all the money in the world, man. They have all the money in the world, and they can't even give you a jumper for your back, man. They can't give you a sandwich because when you're starving. But us in the UPK, under commanding Gen.YAHANNA, we do food drives, man. We feed brothers we've never seen. We the answer to people's prayers in here, man. Go ahead, sir.
I'm saying, what's funny is, with the Catholic Church and like the other ones, they are the richest religions in the face of the earth.
See.
And like what's funny is they don't have to pay any sort of like tax. And yet in the church, they don't want to help nobody.
See.
Don't do.
And this is the thing, man. You Christians say they have faith. These fake Israelite groups say they have faith, but they don't show me their works by their faith, man. Their faith, listen, if you ain't got no works with your faith, you just prove that your belief in your faith is garbage, man. Go ahead.
Needful to the body, what though is profit?
So if a man's starving, I can't say to him, yeah, be full. What I need to do is get him some food so he can be full. That's what we do here. We do actions, man. We do work. That's what we do. We do works. Go ahead. Whereas your pastor just claims he's got faith. Go ahead.
Even so, faith, if it have not works, is dead.
And listen, man, all these religions is dead. All these fake Israelite groups is dead. Because they got no works, man. They got no works to back up their faith. They ain't got a leg to stand on. Go ahead.
Is dead, being alone. Yea, a man say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works. Listen,
all right, show me faith without your works. All right, then you say you believe this. Show me. Just show me. You believe in brotherhood. Show me your brotherhood without no works. Show me your brotherhood without no works. You can't show me brotherhood without no works because you can't show me your faith without your works because you've got nothing to back it up by, man. Go ahead.
And I will show thee my faith by my works.
And I'll show you my faith by my works, by what I do. I'll show you my faith by what I do, man. I will show you my faith by my actions. You tell us to show us our brotherhood. Guess what we're going to show you? We got food drives all over the world, man. We got prison programs where we speak to brothers. Brothers need a place to stay. We find a place for them to stay. They need food. We give them food. I can show you my faith by my works. I can show you that I believe in this brotherhood in the Bible by my works. You can't show me yours because all you've got is faith with no works. You claim you've got faith, but you have sex with your brother's wife, man.
That's right.
You claim you've got faith, but then you're robbing your brothers, man. You claim you've got faith, but then you're doing all manner of evil, man. Now, by my works, I'll show you my faith. By my works, I'll show you that my belief means something. By my works, I'll show you that I take my belief serious, man. These Muslims don't take their belief serious. That's what all of them are rapping about, selling drugs and smoking weed and killing one another. Listen, in here, we take our belief serious, man. And that's why you see how serious we take our belief by our works. We take our faith serious, and you can see that by our works, man. We ain't hypocrites in here like they are in church. Go ahead, sir.
Thou believest that there is one God, thou do as well.
Thou believest that there's one God, thou do as well. You believe that there's one God, you're doing well. Go ahead.
The devils also believe.
It says, look, the devils also believe that there's one God. people read this with a Christian mind when it says the devils also believe there's one God. Listen, the white man also believes there's one God, man. The white man also believes there's one God too. Go ahead. You need to do more than just believe there's one God. You need to do more than that. Go ahead.
And trembles.
And trembles, man. He believes that also. From there, give me Luke chapter 17 and verse 20. Listen, the white man believes there's one God and trembles. What that you telling me? You telling me you believe that? That don't mean nothing to me. Show me that you believe it, man. Show me some works so I can see that you believe it. I need to see some works, man. You can't just be giving me lip service. If you believe it, you would be in the I.S.U.P.K, man. You would be in here. Give me Luke chapter 17 and verse 20.
Luke 17 and 20. And when he was demanded of the Pharisees when the kingdom of God should come.
And the Pharisees was asking, so when's this kingdom coming? They're demanding, saying, when's this kingdom coming? Because obviously they want this kingdom. They're asking, when's it coming? This is most people, man. I can't wait for this kingdom. I can't wait for this kingdom. You ain't doing no work to build this kingdom, man. You're saying you can't wait. If you can't wait, you'd been here building it. About you can't wait. Listen, you can wait because the longer you're outside this truth, the longer it's going to take, man. Come in here, do some work and help build it.
Right.
Go ahead, sir.
He answered them and said, the kingdom of God cometh not with observation.
The kingdom of God don't come with you sitting on your behind waiting for it, man. The kingdom of God don't come with you sitting on your behind talking about, oh, I'm a solo Israelite, I can do this by myself. It don't come with observation, man. You need to get in these ranks and build this kingdom, man. It don't come with observation. It don't come with you just saying I have faith. You need to have works, man. You need to build this kingdom. Go ahead, sir.
Either shall they go, shall they say, lo here or lo there? For behold, the kingdom of God is within you.
The kingdom of what?
The kingdom of God is within you.
The kingdom of God is within you, man. Meaning what? You have to build this kingdom and it's within you, man. You come in here and learn brotherhood. That's part of you building the kingdom, man. The kingdom is within you, man. It's within inside you, man. We have to build it. It don't come with observation. It don't come with you just sitting down and waiting. It don't come with you waiting, man. Listen, if you want to know what the kingdom of heaven's like, you should have been at the 50th annual Passover. That's where you should have been, man. The kingdom of heaven is within you. You think Commanding GEN.YAHANNA just sat down and just waited for there to be a Passover? No, man. Brothers had to go out and build this thing, man. This kingdom don't come with observation. You need to come in here and do some work. The sooner you come in here, the sooner our kingdom will be built and established. People talking about, oh, this kingdom's taking too long. You know why it's taking too long? Because you'd rather not come in here and build it. You'd rather be doing your own thing. You'd rather be watching Avengers instead of coming to class. You'd rather be watching Game of Thrones instead of coming to class. You'd rather be watching Power instead of going to camp and so forth. Listen, man, you have to come in here and build it. If you want that kingdom so much, you'd be in here right now, man. You would be in here right now, man. Go ahead, sir.
Verse 22, and he said unto his disciples,
go ahead.
The days will come.
That was it, and that gave me Matthew chapter 13 and verse 31. Now, where you love, you put your time into what you love. Now, if you love this truth, this is where you would be, man. Same like you love you love smoking weed and cigarettes. You're at the shisha lounge, because that's what you love. Now, if you love this truth, you'd be in here, man. Be in here and help build up this truth, man. And then that way we'll be out of here in no time. Go ahead.
Matthew 13 and 31. Another parable put he forth unto them and said, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of a mustard seed.
It says the kingdom of heaven is like to the grain of a mustard seed. A mustard seed is tiny, man, and takes a while to grow. Go ahead.
Which a man took and sold.
And listen, the kingdom of heaven is like that, man. That's what it's like. To build this kingdom, it starts off as a mustard seed. Go ahead.
Which indeed is the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs.
And listen, man, this thing what we're building is going to be the greatest thing on the face of the earth, man. This is going to be the greatest thing on the face of the earth. Now, first it starts off like a mustard seed. Most people don't believe it's going to grow and whatnot, but believe you me, it is, man. Like a mustard seed, starts off small and then it grows. Go ahead.
And becometh a tree.
Go ahead.
So that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof.
And guess what? One time this tree was so small, and then now it's all over the world now. The schools, all over the states. We got brothers from Hawaii. We got the school here in the UK. Brothers from Trinidad, Jamaica, all states in America. First, it started off in one state? First, it started off in one state with a few brothers. It was small like a mustard seed, and then now it's grown and grown, and it's going to keep growing. And this brotherhood and this UPK is going to be the greatest thing on the face of the earth. Go ahead. And it already is the greatest thing on the face of the earth. Go ahead.
Verse 33, another parable spake he unto them, the kingdom of heaven is like unto heaven, which a woman took and hid in three
and what does leaven do? Everyone should know, because we went over the unleavened bread class the other day. What does leaven do? Leaven makes things rise. And that's what this is like, man. This truth is rising, man. And you better get up in here, because this is about to take off, man. Listen, nowadays we're building what? The spiritual ark. And you better come in on this ark, man. We're building the spiritual ark, and you better come on in while the door's open. That's all I'm gonna say. You need to make your election sure. Go ahead.
The meal till the whole was heaven.
Till the whole was leavened, man, which means it was raised and went big. From there, give me is it Matthew chapter 5 and verse 14?
Matthew 5 and 14. Ye are the lights of the world.
Be the light of the world, man. This is us. Go ahead.
A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid.
A city that's set on a hill cannot be hid. What's a city on a hill? Something that everyone can see, because it's on a hill. So you look up, you can see it, man. It can't be hid. Listen, you need to come in here and not hide your light, man. Or everybody that thinks they can do this by sitting on the armchair, come in here and let your light shine, man. I mean, listen, you think you know it all. Why are you keeping it to yourself, hiding on the couch, man? Come in here and let your light be saw, man. Don't be a city which is upon a hill, man. Don't try and hide the city which is upon a hill, man. If you claim you know it all, you claim you know about the 12 tribes, you claim you know everything. Come in here and let your light be seen, man. Go ahead. You claim you got this light, this knowledge. Come in here and let it be seen. Don't be hiding it in your house. Don't be confined to your four walls hiding it. Go ahead.
No, either do men light a candle and put it under a bushel. And
listen, you don't light a candle just to put the candle somewhere where no one sees it. Now, if you claim you're an Israelite and you know about all of this, and you're in the I.S.U.P.K, you're like a light under a bushel, man. You're hiding your light. Why not come in here and let everyone see your light? See the light, man. Let everybody see. You're like a man lighting a candle to put it under the bed, hiding away behind four walls, hiding away behind the computer screen. Come in here and let that light shine. Go ahead, sir.
But on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house.
Listen, man, you know it all. Come in here and give light to everybody then. Don't be hiding it. Come give that light to everyone, being as you know it all, man. Let your light so forth shine, man. Go ahead, sir.
Let your light so shine before men.
Let your light shine, man. Don't hide it in the house. Don't hide. Come in here and let it shine, man. Like what UPK is doing all over the world, letting it shine. Don't be some armchair Israel, some Facebook armchair Israelite that just sits in the armchair, knowing all the breakdowns and not letting your light, not letting this light shine. Come in here, man, and let your light shine the proper way. Go ahead, sir.
That they may see your good works.
That they may see your good works, man. Come in here and do some good works and help build this kingdom, because the kingdom of heaven comes not with observation. It needs to be builded, man. You have to come in here and do some work and help build it. That's what you need to do, man. And when Yahushua returns, we'll be joint heirs. Let me get the last one. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 19. We've been adopted back to the Father, man. We've been given the right to be the sons of God, which means we joint heirs with Yahushua, man. So come and do some work.
Revelations 3 and 19. Any as I love, I rebuke and chasten.
And Yahushua said, as many as this Yahushua talking, right?
That's right.
Yeah, he said, as many as I love, I chastise, man, meaning I correct and rebuke. Sometimes you're going to come in here, you're going to have to take correction, you're going to get checked. You just take your checking, man. Go ahead.
Be zealous.
Be zealous, man. Don't be lukewarm. You have to be zealous. Go ahead.
Therefore, and repent.
And listen, man. Repent, man. That's what all Israel needs to do. Repent and come home. Go ahead.
Verse 20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door.
Listen, man. Yahushua has been knocking, man. Are you going to open the door? Are you going to get into school? Are you going to serve God? Listen, man. Go ahead.
I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcometh. And
listen, that's what you need to do. You need to overcome, man. Listen, when we're doing these classes, this is the Lord knocking at your door, man. This is the Lord saying, come on in. So it's your call. What are you going to do? Are you going to open the door? Or are you just going to leave it shut? Listen, man, the phone's ringing. The phone's ringing. Are you going to answer to the Lord, or you're not going to answer, man? It's up to you. Are you going to decline your calling, or are you going to come in? Listen, I know what I did when I got my calling. I picked up that phone and said, you know what, I'm getting in. What are you going to do? The ball's in your court, man. Either you can open the door to the Lord and get in here, or you can, stay out there, man. Well, I know what I would do. Let me just give you some advice. I would just get in. That's what I would do. I don't know about you, but I would just get in. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, will I grant to sit with me in my throne?
Will what?
Will I grant to sit with me in my throne?
And whoever opens the door and comes in here and stays in this truth and endures till the end and goes through their trials and goes through their tribulations and does what God requires of them, Yahushua is going to do what?
Will I grant to sit with me in my throne?
And you're going to be granted to sit with him in his throne, meaning what? You're going to be joint heirs, man. You're going to be joint heirs with Christ, like it said in the book of Romans, man. And that's how that's the only way you're getting into the kingdom. But if you don't pick up the phone, you don't want to serve God, you want to, think you can do this on your own. Obviously, that's your call, but I'm going to come in here, I'm going to do the work of the Lord, and I'm going to serve God. That's what I'm going to do. Read the last part from it again.
Will I grant to sit with me in my throne?
So you get up in here and serve God. You're going to be granted to sit with him in his throne and be joint heirs in the kingdom, man. And with that brings us to the end of the class. We're up on the time. So yeah, let's see on that.
All right, that was a powerful class. Just the one.
All right, no, sir.
All right. Right, we are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding GEN.YAHANNA, ruled for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the heads to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will call each other. After this 6 months, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10 means 10th in the Hebrew Ma'ashra. 10% of every any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department, priest fund, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations is the Feast of Weeks, aka the Feast of First Fruits.
Monday. One second, I got the date right here. Give me a second. Monday the 17th of June. That's when we celebrate it. Monday. We're going to celebrate it here in the school. Monday, sundown, the 17th of June. We're already in the Feast of First Fruits. We celebrate it on Monday, the 17th of June. Monday, sundown. We're going to be celebrating it here.
Wow. Right. All Akim and Aqua, check the bulletin board in the hallway, and also check all I.S.U.P.K social media, so the Facebooks, YouTube, Twitters, Instagrams. You know what I mean? Look into all that as well. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start with all black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarves, and that we're going to rise and face east and send up the Lord's prayer.
Abanawa,
Shabbat Shemayim, Kadash, Hayah, Shankar, Yahweh, Malak Wafka, Kaba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratazah, Kawor, Hayah, Bashemayim, Nathanawa, Lakam, Kau, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawafinawa, Wala'ah, Tabaya Ayanawa, Banasayawan, Abor, Habushainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahafapara, La'aiwalamya, Amen.
In English, our Father,
which
art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, I Madiam Shabbat, I Madiam Barak, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Barakatha, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Barakatha, Yad Yamata, class dismissed.